Assalamualaikum, very good morning, salam sejahtera kepada semua. Today I will present a mini CME title of communication and pre-hospital care to my friend here. So a bit of self-introduction from me. So my name is Muhammad Najmuddin bin Muhammad Isoma. He also plays in 5 years. And I take the course of the BMHS Bachelor Medical Health and Science. So currently I'm at the semester second year and the second year at the second semester, and I'm currently at the OUM PETALING JAYA Learning Center. So next I would like to explain about type of communication in pre-hospital care. So we have two type of First of all is a communication report at open space. So what is the communication report at open space? This is reporting status responder, asking for help for MCC if needed, reporting status of patient, reporting movement from first aid responder. So the item that we use is like the telephone, and we also use a gun for this kind of communication. So the second communication is a communication handover. So we use reporting in form of writing, or we can use also reporting in form of speaking, and we can also use a referral letter. So next, okay, so we have before we explain about the communication of pre-hospital care, we need to know the basic first. So we need to know two uses of communication items such as telephone or walkie-talkie, and also gun. And we also need a command center, MCC or medical base. We need a responder and medic team from hospital. So if all of these requirements are already fulfilled, so we can proceed the communication in pre-hospital care. So okay, before we proceed, we need to know the rule and regulation during uses of gun. So first of all, it's very important to speak in loud, clear, and not too long. So make sure that the message that we try to say is very safe by the MCC. Then second is you need to control your emotion, don't panic, and shouting. We know sometimes we face a certain type of situation where we feel panic, such as accident that involve with lots of patients, and we can only save one or two patients. So it's very important to control your emotion and don't panic. Next is we need to set the volume which you can hear loud and clear. So we have this button to set the you can go to the highest and go to the lowest. So we need to set up to which volume is comfortable with us, not too loud and not too slow. And then when we responding the case, it's very important to never give the gun to the other people, to the other patient, unless instructed to do so by MCC. So if we give this gun to the other people, to the people who not use with this gun, they might using wrongly, and they might damage the gun. And then it's very important for only one person allowed to talk to avoid any confusion. It's a it's a two-way communication, but at one time just one people only. So okay, here's a protocol of it. We have a few protocol and a few phase. First of all is an introduction phase, self-introduction, and wait the response from the caller. This is a protocol during the MCC, when the people call at the MCC and MCC answering the call. So it's very important to self-introduction and wait the response from the caller. The second phase is a reporting phase. So you will ask to report the station, what's happened, what kind of case, what kind of emergency that you face. And then we go to the feedback phase. So the receiver will give the basic instruction or medical direction if the patient is needed in the first aid. And then the next is the conclusion phase. Receiver will conclude and make sure that the caller do exactly that has been instructed to it. For example, if the patient is choking, and then before the PHC team arrive at the scene, we will instruct them to do the first key first, such as open the airway, instruct the family member to do the what? Instruct to do the abdominal thrust, and then lastly closing phase. We end the call and we will wait the response from the basic team. Okay, so next is reporting status from respondent. So during the response phase, detail that must have during reporting is first of all is en route. We call that as en route. So any movement, reporting movement from the base at the certain point, so we call it as an en route. And then next is the at scene. So after the ambulance arrive at the scene, we will report to the MCC. We arrive MCC from C1 arrive at the scene over. So next, after at the patient, we will say again. This time we will say that we already arrived at the patient, and then after that we will go to the transporting. So after move on the scene location. So if we want to go back to the hospital, after that if we already arrived at the hospital, let's call it as a arrival hospital. So next is the mini guide of report asking for help or backup. So first of all, if we arrive at the scene and then we are facing a case that need more ambulance or need a backup from a pump. So first of all, we need to tell the detail that MCC needed. So we need to self-introduction. First of all, we need to do the self-introduction first when speaking to home, and then explain the need and why. For example, if you have a big accident involved with 4 or 5 people, so we need to tell the MCC, okay, we need at least 3 more ambulance to respond to this case. And then next is inform the information that MCC needed, and repeat the information one more time to make sure any vital information is not missing. For example, if facing 5 patients at the big accident, and at very least 2 or 3 patients at the red tag, so we need to tell it also, so the MCC can provide the backup as much as possible. So after that we go to the reporting status of patient, handover or inside ambulance, during the inside ambulance. So so we need to report. We use the MIST. So what is that? So M is mechanism of injury, I is injury or life-threatening condition, S is a sign and symptom, physical exam, finding vital sign, T is a treatment or intervention, 3 is trash, and another T is a time of arrival, or we call it as a ETA, estimate time arrival. So okay, let's go back to the gun. So after we already know how to give the instruction during responding the case, so first of all we need to know the basic about the gun. So this is the gun. So what is gun? In the full term of gun, we call it as a government integrated radio network. So gun is one channel that consists lots of union from different agencies of safety, enforcement, and agency that share the same purpose. So the government integrated trunk radio network, or government integrated radio network, is a national level strategic project. The National Security Council and the Prime Minister Department has been the coordinating agency since it started operation in December 2009. So how to use the gun? So first of all, we need to turn the gun on. So, and then we need to select the desired talk group. For example, we're at the Pahang, we need to choose the channel that involved with the Pahang only. If we at the Pahang and we go to the Kuala Lumpur channel, there's no point of it because we will respond the case at the Pahang. And then we need to listen for the transmission sound to make sure that the sound that we receive is loud and clear, and it's from the channel that we want to connect with. The next is we control the volume for controllable sound to ensure a good transmission. And then before we speaking, we need to press the PTT button at least 2 seconds or until beep sound heard. This is an example of it. And then we need to hold the com set near to your mouth at least 5 or 10 cm. So if we speak too closely, the sound might be too noisy. So, but if we talk, we're taking so much space, maybe our voice is not hear it loud or clear. So we need to speak at around 5 to 10 cm. So and then the very most important thing is we need to continue to hold this button, the PTT while speaking. So here's a sanitation body. This is what we call as an emergency button. This is what we call as an antenna. And then it says Navinoc, mode button, left navigator key, right navigator key, and up and down navigator key. And then this is the back of the gun. This is the back of the gun. This is called as a radio, the battery, and this is the PTT button. And carry 8 attachment point is here, around here. And then this is called as a programmable soft key. So, okay, next. So here's in detail about the view that we will see here. So this view that we show here is called as a time. This is the line. The line. So sometimes if you respond to the case, the line might be maybe not strong enough. So sometimes the communication might not go through.
Signal.
We call it as a signal also. And then this is the top group. The top group is very important to make sure that we are in the same top group. And then this is the number of the group here. And then here's the level of the battery. So we need to make sure that we charge our battery. And then this is called as a icon operasi. Okay, so we done with the basic. So let's go with the practical session. So okay, so let's start. Now let's go to the practical session. Okay, so I will be the MCC or the Medibase. No, this my friend here will be the MCC at the Medibase. And I'm here as a responder. So he will tell me the detail of what happened, what kind of accident. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay.
Medic one from MCC calling over.
So okay, next we will need to press this button. Okay. MCC from PSU 1, proceed over. So we go to the phase 2. This is the phase 1. So after phase 1 is done, we go to phase 2. Next.
Phase 1, please respond one case of MBA. Location at kilometer 412 Lebuh Raya plus arah selatan over.
MCC from PSU 1, message copy. Please specific what kind of MBA. How many patients involved with it? Over.
Phase 1 from MCC, MBA car versus car, to be team at scene. Over.
Okay, MCC from PSU 1, message copy. PSU 1 en route to the location with the driver Khairuddin. Over.
MCC dari PSU 2, case dalam Peter. Ambulans dekan apa?
So okay. MCC.
Phase 1 for MCC, Roger and out.
Okay, so MCC from PSU 1. So after we the ambulance is move up, is go to the specific location, and then we already arrive at the scene. We need to tell to the MCC. Okay, MCC from PSU 1 at scene. Over. And after that, after we arrive at the patient, we need to say MCC from PSU 1 at patient. Over. So MCC.
PSU 1 for MCC, news accepted.
So bitter treatment in Melayu. So and then the basically we go assessing the patient, give the first aid treatment as much as possible as we can, depend on the case. So after that, after we already done with that, okay, MCC from PSU 1 transporting one patient, and then we need to tell the specific detail that the MCC needed. Okay, so for this case, It's a MCC 561. We're transporting a 35 years old male Malay, and then we will go to the phase 3. We need to specific what kind of accident is it. So for this case, I will tell it's a alleged MBA car versus car, and then the patient will receive complaint of pain of both leg, and then on arrival, patient need to specifically tell the patient how's the condition. Is it conscious, alert, or not responding, unresponsive. After that, we need to tell the vital sign. BP 110/80, pulse rate 110, and then SpO2 under room air is 99. And then we need to tell the GCS patient 15/15, and then throughout right femur. And then we need to tell the management also, the first aid treatment that we give to the patient. For example, we apply the cervical collar, the spinal board, and then we apply the splint. And then we tell also if we set any line, hydrate, almost line is done. And then we will be taking this patient to the yellow zone. And then we need to tell the estimate time, ETA, 50 minutes. Like I explained before, we need to use the concept of MISTTT. And then after that, from the MCC, MCC,
please send to the them from MCC, news accepted.
Over. Okay, so that's it for our practical season. So thank you very much for today.